This is the final video for tonight. It's meant for those who do not know how to do graph questions. Those who know can skip this video, or you can fast forward to things that you do not know. Now, part A tells you that there is a point 2, 3 which lies on this line where k is a constant and you're supposed to find the value of k. Now, look at this equation. There are three unknowns, k, x, and y. Okay, k, x, and y. But the clue in this question is quite obvious. They have already given you x and y. Okay, so all you need to do is to substitute this x here, substitute the y here as 3, and that will give you all numbers except k, and that's how you can find the number k. Now you have to be very careful for this part A, because if your part A is wrong, subsequently all your answers will be wrong. Okay, and what they're testing you in this question is that if a point lies on a line, the x and y value must satisfy the line equation, meaning if you sub the x inside, the y inside, the left hand side value must be equal to the right hand side value. So when doing this kind of questions, all you need to do is to substitute the x and y value into the equation, and most of the time you will be able to get the answer. Okay, so that's all for this part A. Exactly how do we do it? 2, 3. Okay, the 2 refers to the x value, the 3 refers to the y value. Okay, you substitute it into this equation, put the 2 here, put the 3 here, you will get this. K times 2 is just 2k. All these you can use calculator. Now be very careful here. Some of you are still making very serious mistakes here. From here onwards. Okay, be very careful. You only want k at the end, right? You don't want all this minus 15 and you don't want the 2. So we get rid of this furthest number first. Leave the 2 first. Don't do anything to the 2. The only way to get rid of minus 15 on the left hand side is to plus 15. Then these 2 will cancel out, right? Okay, if you plus 15 here, you must plus 15 here. That's why I get this. Now press the calculator and you will get 15 minus 9. 15 minus 9, that's 6. Okay, and be very careful here. It is not 2 divided by 6. It is 6 divided by 2. Why is it 6 divided by 2? Because you do not want the number 2 here. So you have to divide by 2 on the left, right? If you divide by 2 on the left, you must divide by 2 on the right. That's why it's 6 divided by 2. Always use this reasoning and you will never make mistake. The reason why some of you make mistake is because you take shortcut. Alright, never take shortcut. Think in this way. Always have a balanced equation. Whatever you do here as well. Okay, so k, you have found it to be 3. What this means is that the original equation, okay, here is actually kx minus 59 equal minus 9, right? It's actually 3x minus 5y equal minus 9. So you have to draw the graph for this equation later. K is no longer unknown after part A. K, you have found it to be 3. So you can use this from now onwards. Alright, now let's move now to question part B. Question B says, the variables x and y are connected by this equation. But now you already know that this equation is, where is it? Is, okay, never mind, is this equation. Right? So you don't have to bother about this anymore. Of course, you must make sure your value of k is correct. Okay, so work now with this. Okay, they want you to find the values of m and n in this table. Now, how do we do that? You need to understand this table. Okay, this is how you read this table. And the x value is minus 5 and the y value for this point is m. So minus 5m is 1 point, whereby this is the x value, this is the y value. Okay, and because this point lies on this line, it must satisfy the line equation, right? Okay, so what I do is the same thing as part 1. I substitute this into this equation. Okay, this equation, they're the same thing. I just rewrite it here. Okay, so x, replace it with minus 5. That's what I did. Y, replace it with m. That's what I did here. Now, once you have done that, you will find that all these are numbers. The only unknown is m. So you'll be able to find m. Okay, again, be very careful with your algebra. Use calculator if you're not sure. Okay, final aim is to find m. There's no other numbers here. This is just 1m, right? Okay, so I do not want the minus 15 here. I plus 15 and I plus 15 here. That's why it's 15 minus 9. Okay, press calculator, you get 6. Now, how do I find m? Is it minus 5 divided by 6 or 6 divided by minus 5? Always use the method I taught you. Work with this m. You do not want the minus 5 to be here, right? You want it to be only 1m. So you divide by minus 5 here. But this is an equal sign, so whatever you do here, you must do the same thing here. Okay? Press calculator. That's why it's 6 over minus 5, huh? And not the other way around, okay? Do this way and you will never make mistake. Please do this way. Press your calculator. 6 minus 6 over 5, you'll get minus 1.2. That means m is minus 1.2. Okay? Which means this point is minus 5 minus 1.2. You can plot this point later. This point, we don't know what it is. We have to find out later. This point is 5, 4.8. Okay, the x always comes first, then the y. And separated by a comma, of course. Huh? Okay, now, we're done with m. Let us go to n. Same thing. Okay, n is the x value I put first. O is the y value I put second. Okay, so this is your x, this is your y. Okay, so I put this x value, replaced it with this. Okay, and then this one replaced with 0. And again, you end up with an equation with only n as the unknown. Alright, anything multiplied by 0 is 0, so you can ignore this. So it's just 3n equals minus 9. Again, some of you make the mistake of taking 3 divided by minus 9. That is wrong. Okay? Think of it this way. You do not want the 3 here. Divide by 3. Okay? Whatever you do on the left, you must do on the right, because this is an equation. Okay? After that, you will end up with 1n. 1n here. And press calculator, you end up with minus 3. Which means that this is minus 3. So minus 3, 0 is your second point. So you have 1 point, 2 point, 3 points. You can actually plot 3 points join with a straight line, and that will be the equation of this line. Alright, now of course you need to fill in the answer for this. M just now was minus 1.2, they get 1 mark. N, we have found it to be minus 3, then you get another mark. Okay, so that's part B. We are done. Let's move on to part C. Part C is plotting. Okay, it says here using a vertical scale of this, okay, so on and so forth. What does it all mean? Now, this is the graph that I have drawn. Okay, now how do I draw this graph fast? First of all, take a look at your x value. Okay, they want you to use 1 cm to represent 1 unit. So you use your ruler. Okay, just roughly, but it's actually 5 boxes. Every 5 boxes you see, right? Every 5 boxes you count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Every 5 boxes is 1 cm. Okay, every 5 boxes is 1 cm. That's why it's 2 cm here. Alright, now a fast way to do it is to see what they want you to draw. They want you to draw from -5 to 5 for the x value. You know the x values would be here, right, where the x-axis is. By the way, some of you still don't know that this is x-axis and that this is y-axis. In your recent test, re-quiz, some of you still put x here, y here. That is a very serious mistake. You will get 0 for the whole graph question. Okay, so remember, x is here, y is here. Okay, let's go back to the question. They want you to draw the x value from -5 to 5, and they are separated by 1 cm each. Each unit is separated by 1 cm. So very simple. You just take a look. -5 to 5, that means you must draw somewhere in the middle, right? The y-axis, it has to be in the middle. Okay, so maybe you can put a pen there for the time being. Okay, because you don't really know where to draw the the x-axis. You know that the y-axis has to be here, correct? Because this is a center line. You need to give equal number of spaces for the minus units and equal number of spaces for the positive units. Okay, it's just that you don't know how high it is going to be. Okay, so let's look at the second clue that they are giving us. For the y-axis, they want you to draw from -2 to 6, and they want you to use 2 cm to represent 1 unit. That means between each of these numbers, okay, there's a 2 cm gap. Okay, so what you can do is always start with the highest number, because you don't want to overshoot and then waste time redrawing, erasing and all that. So what you can do is you start with the biggest value, which is -6. Which is 6. Okay, you draw a 6 here, then this is 1 cm, 2 cm. Then you write 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. This 0 is where your x-axis should be, right? Okay, so just now you've already drawn this long line. Okay, then you draw a y here. Of course, you haven't labeled this, right? It doesn't matter. Now you can actually know that this should be where your x-axis should be. Okay, so you can draw a line and then label this x, and then label it all the way from 6 to -2. You can see that there's enough space here. You cannot overshoot here at the bottom, or you cannot overshoot here at the top. So this is just nice. Okay, this is 2 cm, 2 cm, 2 cm, 2 cm gap. This is 1 cm, 1 cm, 1 cm, 1 cm gap, which satisfy whatever they say here. Okay, so this is what you need to do for a start, and you stop here. Do not go beyond. Meaning your whole graph, right, whatever you're going to draw later, it will fall within this area only. Okay, all the way till 6. You cannot draw beyond. You see, I stop here later. You see, these are the later graphs. You see, I stopped here. I didn't go beyond. Okay, if you go beyond, they will minus your marks. Alright, okay, so now that we are clear on what this statement is saying, we can follow the instructions and plot the points given in the table. What table are they talking about? It is the table which we saw just now, this one. Okay, so I made things very simple for you. I wrote it as -5, -1.2. So where is that point? -5 is the x value. So -5 is here. And the y value is -1.2. So -5 and then -1.2. There are 10 boxes between -1 to -2, so each box must be 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5. Correct? So this -1.2 must be here. So where these two lines cross, that is where your cross must be. Okay? You need to mark this cross. They will look out for this cross when they mark their work. When they mark your work. Okay, so this is the cross that you must draw, which represents this point. Okay, done already. The first point done already. Now let's look at the second point. -3, 0. -3 is your x value. So where is -3? Oh, it's here. Okay, -3 here. And your y value is 0. Oh, that means it's just nice here. X equal -3 is here, right? So this is where you need to mark the cross. Now let's do the last point. 5 is your x value. Okay, 5. Yeah, 5. And 4.8. 4.8 means 4.8. Okay, 4.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.8. So this is your point here. Okay, you see? 4.1, 4.8. And this is x equal 5. Y equal 4.8. This was what we have drawn. Alright, after getting these 3 points, 1, 2, 3, join them with a straight line. Why must we join them with a straight line? That's what they say. Join them with a straight line, right? On your axis means your x and y axis. Okay, so we are done already. 3 marks done. Just for drawing this line. Okay, but you must remember always to label the line, because there can be many lines here, there, everywhere. If you don't label means you write down the equation of the line. What's the equation of the line? It is this one. 3x minus 5y equals minus 9. Write this down. If you don't write this down, they will minus your marks. Okay, done already? Then we move on to the next part, which is part D. Okay. Part D says from the graph. Now, if they say from the graph, you cannot use algebra to work out the answer. You have to use your graph, the graph that you have drawn, this blue line. So far, we have only drawn this blue line. The red line is for the later part. They want you to write down the coordinates. Coordinates means you must have the bracket and the comma. Bracket and the comma. Okay, sorry, this is x, the mistake. This is y. Okay, how do I find the x-intercept? X-intercept is the point where the line cuts the x-axis. You see, this is the x-axis, right? This is the x-axis. Where does the line cut the x-axis? Here, right? So this is the x-intercept. It's where the line intersects the x-axis. So we call this the x-intercept. Okay? So what's the coordinates of this line? At this point, it is the x value is -3, right? So you just write here -3. What's the y value? Y value, you see the y-axis. This is the y-axis. Oh, it's 0. So just write minus 3, 0. That's all. You get 1 mark. Okay, how about the y-intercept? Y-intercept, this is the y-axis, right? This is the y-axis. Where does the line cut the y-axis? It cuts the y-axis here. Okay, and what is the coordinate of this point? Imagine you're standing here. Okay, imagine you're standing here. What is your x value? X value, you look at the x-axis, huh? Oh, it's 0. So you write here 0. Okay, the x value is 0, right? What's the y value? Y value, you are standing right at the y value. Is 1.1, 1.2, 1.8. Yeah, that's all. Okay, that's all for this part. Okay, now let's go to E. Now E again says, given that minus 2p is a point on the graph. Which graph is this blue one? Not the red one. We haven't gone to the red one yet. Use your graph. Now this is very important. Use your graph means you cannot use the earlier method where we sub in this into here. You know, remember I told you to find p. You can sub here, and then you can find p, right? You cannot use that method. Why? Because they say use your graph. If you sub in, right, you are using algebra to solve. Cannot. They won't allow. Okay? So this question, you have to use your graph. Now, how do you use your graph? Very simple. This is your x value. This is your y value, right? They're trying to tell you that, hey, when x equals to minus 2, okay, when x equals to minus 2, yeah, okay, what happened? They're asking you what is your y value. So what you do is, imagine there's a line x equals to minus 2, right? Where does this line x equals to minus 2 cut the line that you have drawn? It cuts it at, this is 1, so all these are 0 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, so on and so forth. So 0 0.1, 0 0.2, 0 0.3, 0 0.6. 0.6. So the answer is 0.6. Finish already. So that's what they mean by use your graph. So how do you show the working? You just draw dotted line and then draw dotted line here and then label here 0.6. That's all. Don't show any working in algebra here. If you want to check answer, you can do that, but then after that cancel it away. Otherwise they will give you 0. Okay, so that's for part E. Done. Let's go to F. Okay, F requires you to find the area. Give me a minute. Okay, running out of battery. Okay, never mind. Let's hope it lasts. Okay, find the area bounded by the lines. Bounded means surrounded. Okay, this word bounded means surrounded. Okay, surrounded. Okay, surrounded. Okay, so you have already drawn this line, you know. You don't forget you already drawn this line. Remember just now we found it to be 3. Okay, this line is this blue line, this blue color one. So you now need to draw this other line, x equals to minus 3. How to draw x equals to minus 3? It is a vertical line. Okay, x equals to minus 3. You see the ruler? This is x equals 5, x equals 4, x equals 3, x equals 2, x equals 1, x equals 0, x equals minus 1, x equals minus 2, x equals 3 is here. I already drawn in yellow, not yellow, green color. I hope you can see. This is x equals to minus 3. This one, okay, it's green color. And you want another line, y equals to 3. Y equals to 3 means this y equals 6, y equals 5, y equals 4, or y equals 3 is this green color line. So can you see that this, and if I use this scissors, okay, this line x equals 3, this line is y equals 3, and then there's one more line here. Oh, so they want you to find this area here. Now how do you do that? You just use half times base times height. Okay, half times base times height. Now, what is this length here? Don't count the boxes. You got to count these units here. So it's 1 unit, 2 unit, 3 units. Yeah. So this whole thing is 3 units. Okay. How about here? Okay, again, don't count the boxes. You got to count the units. Okay, you see the units here, and then do you notice that the units for the x-axis and the y-axis, they are different? Okay, so you count here. This is 1, you know, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here to here is 5. 5. So 5 is the base. 3 is the height, so half times 3 times 5. Where's the thing? Okay, so half times 3 times 5, you will get 7.5 units square. That's all. Okay, so that's for this part, which is this area here. This area here, okay? See this line, this line, this line is surrounding the area, so this is the part that you need to find. Yeah, that's all for F. Okay, I think I will stop here. I continue the next part. I need to charge my battery. I need to get a wire.